Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. My name is Eddie, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel to let me know that you guys stopped by. I would greatly appreciate it. And I thank you, as always, for coming and hanging out with me. It's always appreciated. Now, without further ado, let's get into the content here. Now, in case you have been living under a rock and haven't really been on my channel the last week or so, you may not know that the Trump administration has kind of had to foot on the gas as it pertains to EBT or SNAP benefits, aka food stamps, as we used to call it. Now, they're proposing a new ban, and it's really important to understand that this has not gone into effect yet. So while we're talking about this is just a proposal, but it seems like there's a likely chance that it may go into effect soon. But anyways, this proposal is a proposal to ban certain junk foods and certain junk drinks or sugary drinks from being purchased with food stamps, right? We already know there's certain things that you cannot buy, like alcohol, cigarettes, etc. But really, when it comes to food and drinks outside of alcohol, there's not really a ban on most of the items. So this is just kind of a ban to block a lot of like the unhealthy stuff. Now, I got some mixed feelings about it, so we're going to get into the original video, and then we'll hear from some people who have their feelings about it, and then I'll come back and I'll give my opinion on it. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the content.
Talk. The Trump administration is considering a policy that would prevent food stamp recipients from purchasing sugary drinks and junk food with their benefits. Agricultural Secretary, alongside Health and Human Services Secretary and Elon Musk's Department of Doge, aims to ensure the taxpayer money is spent on nutritious foods. They emphasize that the goal isn't to deprive children of food, but promote healthier choices. People argue that such restrictions could be seen as government overreach, dictating personal choices of people. As this proposal gains traction, it raises a pressing question. Is it the government's role to influence dietary habits through benefit restrictions, or does this infringe upon personal freedoms?
EBT and food stamps are not going to be allowed to buy junk food with EBT or food stamps. I seen something that stated that the Trump administration was stopping people who receive EBT or food stamps to stop buying any junk food or high processed food items with their EBT and food stamps. And if they are going to put this rule in place, they just need to decrease the price of healthy foods, okay? Because healthy foods are so high. That's why people shop and buy things that they can afford, aka junk food and high processed foods, because they are trying to make their food stamps benefits stretch the whole month. So towards the end of the month, the kids might be eating oodles and noodles or TV dinners or whatever else or sandwiches with chips, because guess what? Or hot dogs and burgers, because guess what? It is just high. Stuff is high. So you're trying to stretch your food stamps towards the end of the month to make them last. Because anybody who have received food stamps before, which is me, I've received them before, know that those food stamps benefits does not last the whole month. And we all know that that bag of vegetables is $10 or the price of eggs at this point. Okay? It's like $12 for a carton of eggs. Listen, decrease the price of healthy foods so that people can actually afford to buy them.
Food stamps, you will no longer be able to buy junk food like sodas, chips, or anything unhealthy. It is going to be banned completely in the United States. The US government is looking for ways around this where they can ban it. So it's most likely going to happen following the Health Secretary RFK Jr.'s confirmation. This man confirmed that he is trying to get it banned. So if you are on food stamps, for the people that are less fortunate and the people that cannot afford to live, they are going to be basically taking away your freedom of choosing what you can buy. Now, I understand healthy food is good, and I agree, but some people can't afford that. Like, if you're only getting a certain budget, and also the healthy stuff costs even more than the junk food, and it's sad that that's got to be. The comments are literally all over the place. A lot of people are saying, oh, that sucks, that's sad. Some people are saying they deserve it and they should be ashamed. I don't think we should shame anyone using food stamps or having to live off the government because they can't afford to live because the wages are too low and the food is too high. What do you think of the comments down below of this?
70% of food stamps go to processed food. 10% of food stamps go to sugar drinks, to sodas. We're creating diabetes problem in our kids by giving them food that's poison. And I'm going to stop that.
Want to police the poor. The USDA has recommended that those on SNAP, aka food stamps, should be unable to buy junk food. And instantly the internet was like, yes, my tax dollars should not go to Tostitos or Toaster Strudel. Me, I believe in a social safety net that is more about choice than it is control. And as we can see across the US, people care more about making other people's lives worse, even if their lives don't get any better.
The committee is throwing a fit today. Why, you ask? Because RFK and the federal government are looking to ban sugary drinks and candy from the EBT SNAP benefits. The federal government should not be paying for your sugary drink. They should be paying for healthy food for you and your children. I support this. I think a lot of you see this as an entitlement and a way to spoil your children when it should be just a crutch to get you through. Now, with RFK doing this, I have no problem with it. Because if you want to feed your family diabetic food and food that's not good for them, you should do it on your own dime, not the federal government's. If you want a handout, accept what you get. If you want to spoil your kids, well, get a fucking job. Now that this is happening, we're going to see a lot of change. A lot of you are going to go to work and you're going to want to do better because you want to do good by your children. I truly believe that. But not on the government's dime and not on taxpayers' dime. Let's get at them.
The skedaddle is a nice touch at the end. Let's talk about this, because here's the thing. I do think that there is an epidemic of children consuming really unhealthy things on a regular basis. And yes, it obviously does lead to health issues down the line, diabetes being one of them, obesity also being another. That is a very real thing. That's not even a secret, right? Not even with children. We all know that just America in general has an obesity problem, and that's just a fact. In a lot of other countries that have healthy foods that are cheap don't have such an obesity problem. And that is, like I said, that is a fact. We've already confirmed that. Now, I'm a little bit on the fence about this because healthy food is unnecessarily expensive in the United States. It does seem a little bit like that's by design, because in theory, it should not be more expensive than unhealthy food. I actually think it should be the other way around. I kind of feel like unhealthy stuff that has more processing and more additives added to it should be more expensive. I don't understand why it's not that way, but it just, in theory, it seems like it should be that way. Now, I don't agree with the gentleman who says that we are taking away freedoms of choice when it comes to what we want to buy, because here's the thing. If you want that type of freedom to buy what you want to buy for your children, because I do think it is the parents' choice in what they want their children to consume. If you want them to consume unhealthy things, that is their choice. If you want them to consume only healthy, organic, natural things, that is your choice. Now, with that being said, we are not trying to take, or I don't want to say we, but I don't think the administration is trying to force you to have your kids eat this or that. Because really, if you want them to have what you want them to have, and it happens to be the unhealthy things that they're trying to ban, you just have to purchase it yourself on your own dime, like the last gentleman said, not the taxpayer's dime, right? So if you don't like the rules of the handout, then don't take the handout. It's pretty simple, because when you start to want to control how the handout is governed, but you want to accept the handout, but you also want to control it, it's giving a little bit entitlement issue, right? Because you want free stuff, you want the handout, but you don't want any stipulations around it at all. So it's very much giving entitlement, and I just have to be honest about that. That's just my opinion. Now, and I also don't think that's policing the poor. I just really don't. It's just a regulation that they're putting on the handout that you don't have to accept. Point blank, period. If you don't like the rules around it, don't accept it. Go buy your own stuff. Figure out a way to work or make more money so you can purchase whatever it is that you want to purchase, right? Because you can't buy alcohol or cigarettes with it, but if you still smoke and you still drink, how are you getting that? You're having to find another way to get it besides the government, because they're not paying for that, and they shouldn't pay for that either, but they're not anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now, when it comes to the regulations, I don't mind it. I really don't mind it, because I don't even, and it's not even about the taxpayers' money. It's just really, I think that the obesity thing is a real problem. And I think that needs to be controlled too, because that also feeds into the high price of healthcare. Because eventually, if you have diabetes, now we have an issue with how expensive healthcare already is. So you're also in, if these, there's also free healthcare for people who can't afford it. And that also, see how this is all kind of entangled together, right? We're eating unhealthy stuff leading to health issues. Now we need healthcare, but sometimes people can't afford healthcare. But it's also like we're responsible for some of that because we're eating unhealthy stuff. So it all kind of ties in and not in a good way. Not a good way. And it's all just America's problem, to be honest. But I've already been saying that we need an overhaul of this system because this is one problem, the nutritional part of it. But the other part of it that I've also talked about in other videos is this: we need an overhaul of it, period. Because speaking of entitlement, some people really feel entitled to the benefit who don't even need the benefit, who actually can work. There are people who actually can work but choose not to work. And now they're on the benefit and they choose to accept that as a way of life, but now they don't want to accept any regulation around it at all. See how entitled some people can be? Now, there are some people, like I said in a previous video, who use it as a crutch. Again, the last gentleman used that word crutch. I think that's fine. But when you make it a lifestyle and you want it with no strings attached, I'm sorry, you are very entitled. So I don't really see any, now that I think about it, I don't really care about this regulation because I don't get EBT anyway. But as long as you can still buy food to feed your kids, if you want them to have candy, Doritos, Capri Sun, and whatever other sugary sodas that you want to buy, Mountain Dew, Pepsi for them, you don't have to buy that yourself. So if they ban this, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly just don't care because I feel like it's okay. I really feel like it's okay. And it's not going to stop people from being on the benefit, right? Because truly, if you don't want to work and you're that lazy and you have kids to feed, you're going to just figure out what to buy them after this. You're still going to be on the benefit, to be honest with you, because lazy people who don't want to work for a living are still not going to work for a living. This is not going to change that. They're not going to automatically say, oh my gosh, like I can't buy Doritos for my kids. Let me go get a job and get off the government. That's not going to happen. We all know that. We all know that. So let's just be real about it. So I really feel like that's the main issue, is that too many people are on it to begin with. So now they're trying to cut back on that. And I think that they should, but I think that too many people being on it in general is the main issue. And we still need to have our foot on the gas regarding that, because again, that is the taxpayers' money. And when taxes continue to go up to fund these programs that people are taking advantage of, that's when the middle class starts to have to foot the bill for all their shenanigans. And I think that's really the main issue that working people are having. And that's why some of the working people, you'll see them in the comments like championing this stuff on, because they're just tired of it. Because everybody kind of knows somebody like that. Everybody knows somebody, whether it's in your family, whether it's in one of your friend groups or a friend of a friend. Everybody knows somebody that's clearly taken advantage of the system and have been on the system for years and years and years and have absolutely no intention on getting off of it. I know several people like that, and I think it's a little sickening. I really do. But let me know how you feel about this topic in the comments. Do you guys think that this type of regulation is overreach? Do you think that it's any of the government's business? Do you think the government, I think it is the government's business. If this is a benefit that the government is providing, I absolutely think that it is their business. I think it's the middle class's business too. I think that because if we're paying into it, right, it's coming out of our tax money, why is it not our business? Because some people will say, oh, what do you care what I buy with it? I really don't, but I do think it's our business. And yes, we have a right to question it. And yes, we have a right to have a say-so in it, to be honest with you. Clearly we don't have a right to opt out of paying into it. I wish we could, because I would opt out of it. We don't have that option. So, but it is our business. It is the government's business. That's just how I feel. But let me know if you guys think this is the government's business. Is it overreach? Should they leave it alone? Should they put the ban in place? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.